It doesn't make big companies rich. It's a way to empower the small guy so that he can go out there and do what needs to be done to get his family housing without having to go out to the big box store and pay a bloody fortune. It's a solution that is viable. It's just a matter of the public making the choice to open up those doors. Let's change the laws. Let's say we can build with used material. Let's go ahead and change the laws and say that in some cases you can build with glass. If you're doing salvage, you can use single pane glass because you're going to be building a house that's going to be zero carbon footprint instead, so you're making up for the energy.
Our subdivision in Rockport won't allow you to use any used wood.
No, none. That's what I explained
Yeah.
before you'd gotten here. It's the same thing, all the cities and everything, they won't allow it. So as I'm saying, it's the public conscience and consciousness and
So how do you get
action
away with
that's going to
it?
make that change. I'm building out in the middle of no man's land where there are no codes.
But you're bringing the houses to wherever they want them, right?
But if generally they want them in the country, there's still no code. And if they're coming into the city and it's under 200 square foot, it doesn't require permitting. It doesn't have to comply with that code.
Ah, so you have to stay in the 200.
So that's the world of loopholes.
It's landscape for the action, the landscape for Nolan Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
His home builder was Andy Allen. He built into classic homes. And the real nice homes, like the chandeliers and the other ones. But he was saying they don't allow him to build this type of homes in San Antonio because of the codes. You know, he already built it for Nolan Ryan out there in George Western Rivers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, with all the lumber, with the old glass, with the old hardware, all that stuff is denied to you because they pass building code. Well, building code, of course, is how the big corporations are able to go ahead and say, now you have to use double pane instead of glass. Yes, it's an inferior product, but darn it, we're making it, you need to buy it. And we put a lot of money lobbying to make that law get passed. So now you have to buy it.
I remember the first double pane window house that I saw was literally 2 windows shoved together, and they worked better than the double pane today.
When he was sitting there saying about his 100-year-old window that's better than the 15-year warranty, whatever. And I was thinking, yeah, up north we have 2 windows. We have a storm window.
That's right, we have a storm window
that
and a
we
regular
pull
window, that's
down,
right.
And when it's not winter, we leave it up and we pull the screen down.
If it gets fogged, you
You
take
know,
it
we
off
have a
and you wipe
regular
it down and you
window.
clean
We
it. You
also
put it
have-
back.
Casing.
And down here, we also had windows that would separate bottom and top so that you could get the hot air going out when the cool air is coming in.
Right.
I mean, simple.
Double hung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have 2 houses that no windows don't open on, so.
I'm looking at this house that you have here on the brochure at the bottom of the middle section from Bear Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly how long did it take you to build a house like that from beginning to end?
That house was actually a 12 by 20 with a little 10 by 13 second section on it. The way we construct them nowadays, that would probably take us somewhere in the realm of about 1,000 man hours, maybe a little more. So it takes from start to finish for our processing purposes about 4 months from an order being started at the time we actually finish it. But the actual construction process about anywhere from a month and a half to 2 months of actually building it.
So if
Hey.
you're moving it in to the city, can you add on to it without it having to be?
You can.
You move it in as.
That's again interesting loopholes. The way you do that is actually that you could have one sit there and not get permitted, and you can then have another one come in and with a short walkway to it, but not actually connected to it. Then you actually are only doing the same thing again, which still complies. And in theory, you could again come back in and put another one in and put another little walkway to it,
I'm doing that.
and then not have a modular house because it's not connected with. See, the fact that it's not weather controlled between those units is what makes or breaks the
Could you
whole
have a
concept.
roof and floor, with no walls?
Yeah, because you're not controlling the weather. Exactly.
Easily.
Yeah, you can breeze right
so
over.
I have to go out and code to go to the next.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yes. Well, no. This is the way. No.
We're gonna
Sarah,
have to stay in the
when
main
you're
house.
putting it together, when you're putting it together. Now you got 3 houses out there, and you got walkways, city and bottom. Now you come back in.
And go, oh,
And
it's-
oh man, I'm just
The
going to
way
put
it's
this little
raining, I'll have to
wall
close
on
this
this
in.
side. Yeah, and I'm going to put this little wall on this
Well,
side.
it also depends on how you build that stuff too, because you can put this over and this and maybe as walls that don't connect with the roof, and you're still not connected.
There's-
In some areas, and
Like
I won't say
outside
all.
walls that, go up and
Yeah,
connect to the
I mean, there's.
There's one that we're looking at in Austin's going to have skylight, basically skylighted running, but it's going to be tight. So yeah, Again, you have to check on your local loopholes to see what you theoretically can or can't do.
You seem to be up on many of them.
Well, I'm trying because it's the only way I'm going to survive. Because once the government decides that they're going to have to get into my business, then they'll probably shut me down.
Yeah.
Because if they want, if somebody says, "Oh, sick 'em, get 'em," they've got all the rules and all the ways in the world to shut anybody down.
And the money too.
And the money, it's unlimited. The government's got unlimited. Obviously, they're taking and spending it as if it's unlimited. But
So
no, the
many
whole idea is
monkeys
to teach.
on?
Then we're basically right now we're booked for about 6 months out, but we only sell a few a month because we don't do a large volume. In fact, right now we can only build about 2 a month, maybe 3 a month. So
But you booked for 6 months out, so that's good.
yeah, oh yeah, we have orders and stuff. But the goal here is to get this down pat where we can perfect what we're doing, and then teach people how to do it. Put it together in a book, put it together on a website, whatever we can do to get the word out. Because I'm not going to build a million of these. I'm not going to impact the world myself trying to build tiny Texas houses. The only way I
Can't
can make
give
a
it
difference.
away.
But I can teach people how to do it. And if they'll go out there and do it,
Multiplier.
that's the multiplier effect. Exactly. The only way we're going to make a difference is if a whole bunch of people get on board and say, "Hey, I can do that too. What else do I got to do in my life? I got no job, I got nothing else, I got tools and no place to go build. Why not go ahead and get
Then
some
you
salvage?"
warehouse and let them buy.
Well, and the warehousing part is expensive. I mean, it's like anybody knows that has a
salvage.
store
You
operation.
haven't talked about the warehouse in Gonzales.
Yeah, the warehouse in
Speak about
Gonzales
that
is about
just a little.
140,000 square foot of inventory under roof. So there's 5,000 doors to pick from. There's literally thousands of windows to pick from. There's flooring, beadboard, shiplap, barnwood, tubs, sinks, anything you can imagine. The problem is it's expensive to warehouse it. So what I came to understand after a dozen years in the business is that unless it's flowing through, unless you're taking it from point A and moving it to point B, you got to worry about water leaking on it. You got to handle the piles, and every time you pick up that pile and move it, it costs more money. So again, the way to make this work nationally is every 300 miles you put a warehouse up. And that warehouse is the co-op. The guys doing the teardown, they bring their stuff there. And warehousing is a science in itself. Believe me, I have a pile syndrome. Cost me tens of thousands of dollars a year to move piles. Okay, because everybody always wants what's in the back on the bottom, none at the top on the front. So, but teaching them to have this facility.
Buy this.
Well, and actually, that's kind of what you actually have to kind of do is promote. But if you have stuff coming through where you have an outsource, now I'm building houses with it. And there might be a guy that only builds 2 in his backyard a year, but that makes him a living. You might build a 3rd one for one of his grandkids every year. And it might be the younger guys that are getting together as a team, and 4 or 5 of them are knocking out 1 a month. And they're pulling in 10 grand a month. Well, that's, $2 grand a pop that they're making, and they're only selling the house for $25,000 because
So
of the materials.
can we go buy from your warehouse?
Yes, you absolutely can. You absolutely can.
And is it on something that I could?
Yeah,
on
in fact,
this
you go to the website, there'll be a link to it. It's discoveries.com. DISCOVERYS.
If I win, we'll be rebuilding the same house, and if he wins, we'll be building a new house.
We've got all the materials for either direction you go. Yes, sir.
18 months. Just
Just like
like
a
I
side note, I went to the Parade of Homes there in San Antonio, by Fiesta, Texas. All the houses were $1,295,000, $1,395,000.
Garbage. Big garbage. It's a little garbage. I know.
Jeez.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Garbage with lots of space in between.
Hollow core, hollow core doors,
A lot of energy to-
sheetrock, yeah.
I'm gonna have to cut you
Yeah,
off.
I'm done.
This
I'm done.
is
Thank
the
you.
best sustainable talk we've had in the 3 years we've been
Well,
doing it.
thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
really, really appreciate you
Yeah.
coming and taking the time to do this. And it really irritates me that there's not more people here to hear this important thing. Maybe they'll see it on YouTube.
Most
I
important
appreciate
people
you
showed
Everybody's
up.
going to Jason's website and not showing up.
Well, that's
Oh,
one of the
hey,
things
welcome to
we
the
need to
meeting,
talk
yeah.
about.
Then they'll ask
The last 15 minutes of our meeting tonight, we're going to talk about, is this club going to stay together, or are we going to disband and join up with James and his group, or maybe Paul, Martin, and Seguin and become part of their group.
I'll step out of the front because this is your job here. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate the.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really,
Thank you.
really, really.
We'll come visit you.
Like to see some pictures and stuff.
Actually,